Good evening, everyone. My name is Marty Johannes, and I'm the Careers and Finance Librarian for the Johnson County Library. And I want to thank you all for joining us this evening for the third program in our Careers Begin Here series. The first program in the series provided an overview of Workforce Partnership, a nonprofit organization that works with both job seekers and employers, providing resources and training to meet the employers' needs in this community. The second program was presented by Flint Hill Job Corps, which is an amazing paid residential training program for those ages 16 to 24 years, which is held in the Flint Hills. And then tonight's program features Johnson County Community College and the Kansas Promise Scholarship. Tonight's program is a hybrid program. So in addition to hosting it in person, we're also hosting it on Zoom and recording it for inclusion in our Career Development Online Programs Archive, which you can access from our Career Development webpage. We are fortunate to have two presenters tonight. Rhiannon Minster is a recruiter at Johnson County Community College, working with students from area private schools, the Blue Valley School District, the Shawnee Mission District, the Olathe District, as well as homeschool students. Recruiting for JCCC involves going off campus to the area high schools, attending college fairs, and running events on campus. Rhiannon graduated from the University of Missouri, Kansas City in 2019 and is now pursuing an MA through Wichita State University. Ashley Jost is the Financial Aid Coordinator Communications at JCCC. She joined the team in 2012 and moved into her current position in the spring of 2017. She holds an undergraduate degree in business with a minor in Spanish. She also earned an MBA from Emporia State University. In her current role, she manages all outreach and marketing for the Financial Aid Office, including the web. She coordinates the JCCC FAFSA completion events, consortium agreements with other academic institutions, and conducts financial aid presentations all around Kansas City. She loves finding new ways to be creative and innovative while making the financial aid process easier and communication more clear for JCCC students. Her favorites are the financial aid outreach events and parent nights at the high school. She enjoys sharing everything JCCC has to offer and helping students and their families find ways to pay for college. Rhiannon and Ashley will answer questions as they come to mind. If you're attending in person, please raise your hand. If you're viewing this on Zoom, please put your comments and questions in the chat, and Dylan will share them with Ashley and Rhiannon. So enjoy.
Thank you, Marty. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, James, for everything, getting us all hooked up and ready to go. We're happy to be here tonight. Look forward to speaking with you all about Kansas Promise and everything that JCCC has to offer.
I will start us off by sharing a video that we made specifically for recruitment that shares a lot of the programs we offer at JCCC in a way that's more visually interesting than me saying it out loud. Kansas Promise programs are not every single program at JCCC. We have about 100 degrees and certificates, but the Kansas State Legislature got to select which ones are eligible for Kansas Promise. So before Ashley tells us about how you get Promise, first we're going to talk about all of the programs that are actually Promise eligible. So under the health sciences, that includes dental hygiene, dietary manager certificate, emergency medical science, and the EMT certificate, our mobile intensive care technician certificate, which is under the EMS program, neurodiagnostic technology, the practical nursing certificate, so that would be an LPN, the medical coding specialist, medical office specialist, our health information systems associates of science, health information systems certificate, the registered nurse associates respiratory care, the home health aide, certified medication aide, and certified nurse aide. These programs really drastically vary in length and time commitment and difficulty. A certified nurse aide, you can become a CNA very quickly. Those courses are our most popular at JCCC though. Our certified nurse aide classes actually have a completely separate enrollment time compared to every other class, and they will frequently fill within 10 minutes. So to become a CNA is very, very popular right now. And some of these programs are some of our selective admissions programs. We only have a few selective admissions programs at JCCC, but they're mostly in the health sciences, and this is where there are prerequisites that need to be completed before starting the degree. So this would be the dental hygiene, this would be practical nursing, this would be registered nursing, and that varies drastically program to program what that means. So for dental hygiene, they have a dental hygiene exam. For registered nurse, they have a nursing exam, but licensed practical nurse, as of last I was told, does not have an exam. Some of them have different classes that are required. Some of them have just, if you're in the medical field, you need to have certain vaccinations like hepatitis and all these kinds of things. So those program students will frequently go to a pre-dental hygiene or a pre-nursing year before going directly into those programs, unless they come from another school where they already had that done. But if you're coming straight out of high school, then you would not have those things done already. But if you're a working adult, you could definitely get those done at another institution and transfer them over if that's what you want to do. Now, in industrial technology, most of our industrial technology programs are eligible. That includes automation engineer, computer aided drafting, construction management, the degree and certificate, electrical technology degree and certificate, electronics technology degree and certificate, HVAC degree and certificate, welding degree and certificate, and then plumbing, just the certificate program. A lot of our industrial technology programs are extremely popular. So some of them are moving to a waitlist program where you have to tell them pretty far in advance, hey, I want to start this program at this time, and then they'll put you on a list, and they will go through that list in order of who gets to do it. I believe it's electrical is doing that, welding is doing something like that. HVAC, I know they just added this fall a third cohort, so we're not quite at that point with the HVAC program yet, but we will be getting there pretty quickly, and it's just that these programs are in such high demand. We need to have a way to keep track of people to make sure that people who are really, really interested get into those programs are able to complete those programs. So again, it's not the same as the nursing where you have to have all these things done. It's just on the website, it's very detailed information. Hey, you have to have applied and filled out this form so we know to have you on our list of interested people. In arts and design, interior design is included, including the degree, assistant certificate, and then the kitchen and bath design certificate. So these programs that you sign up to take classes, you don't have to worry about getting on a list. You don't have to worry about any other additional requirements. All three of these, you can just go about your business and take your classes as you would in most of our programs. And here are some lovely pictures of our kitchen and bath designers thoroughly enjoying the baths that they will be designing. There are a lot of other programs available besides those that have smaller lists in business. Our legal admin assistant certificate counts. Under law, we have Associates of Arts with an emphasis in criminal justice, and then paralegal has both the degree and the certificate. In education, you can get an Associates of Science with an emphasis in early childhood education. Public safety, there is all of our fire science programs, which are the firefighter certificate, fire administration certificate, and the fire science associate's degree. A lot of our computer science programs are eligible. So the Associates of Science in Information Systems Technology, Computer Information Systems degree, Computer Information Systems Software Developer Certificate, Computer Support Specialist degree, Computer Support Specialist A+ certificate, which is a specific programming language, Computer Support Specialist Networking Plus/Security Plus certificate, Cybersecurity, Data Analytics, Digital Media, Game Development, Information Technology, Web Development degree, Web Development certificate, Web Technology certificate. So if you're interested in moving into computer science, there are a lot of opportunities, including game development, which is really cool that that program is included. And then there are a lot of resources available at JCCC that you receive just as part of being a student, whether you take one class or whether you take 6 classes, doesn't matter, you get equal access to all of our resources. So in the Academic Resource Center, that would be all of our tutors. So we have a math resource center, science, writing, languages, which includes both the foreign languages and American Sign Language. And then our Academic Achievement Center will cover anything else. So a good example of that, I clearly have no idea what accounting is, because I thought accounting tutors would sit in the Math Center. Apparently they don't, so they sit in the Academic Achievement Center. And then College Success is a department that offers a lot of different classes that you can access, like career and life planning, college study strategies, college success strategies. So these are things that are going to teach you how to do well in college, because it's not necessarily obvious, like how do you take a test? You would think it's obvious, but there are like strategies that you can learn to do better on tests that they can teach you, and then you'll do better in all of your classes. So there are a lot of ways that the College Success Department can teach you different skills. Access Services is for students who have documentation of any kind of disability that can be included on a high school 504 or IEP. If you are an adult learner and do not have those, you can potentially talk to Access Services about steps to getting that documentation, but that can include things like interpreting, note-taking, extended test time. My little brother is on the spectrum, and during his time at JCCC, he would get extended test time on online exams for online classes he would take, and extended test time on in-person tests. But instead of taking them in a classroom or in the main room of our testing center with other people, he would receive a private testing room, because having other people in the room was a severe distraction. So he would get that private room so he would be able to better focus on his exam. And then our Basic Needs Center has a lot of different ways to make sure the students' basic needs are being met. So they have things for if students are food insecure or housing insecure, transportation insecure. Couple examples, the CAB cupboard is our food, not bank, pantry, food pantry. Yes, the food pantry available on our campus. That also includes a scholastic pantry. Sometimes there are things like diapers in there depending on what a student needs. The equipment loan program is for students who require a Wi-Fi hotspot or a laptop that they need to successfully complete courses, but don't have already. So if you're in a Zoom class and you really need to have access to your Zoom to do class and you don't have a device to do it on, you can apply for equipment that you can keep for the semester that you are in classes. And then the Student Assistance Fund is for any miscellaneous costs that might come up that might prevent you from successfully completing your time at JCCC. Example, let's say that you drive your car to school and that's the only way you can get to school. You have a flat tire, you can now no longer drive your car and you do not have the money to get it fixed. therefore you cannot go to school, therefore you will fail out of all your classes. Well, that's not good. We want to make sure students can get that fixed. So the Student Assistance Fund could potentially, once applied, provide the money to get that tire fixed, so then you can come to school. They have a lot of other ways that they can help. They can help you apply for things like SNAP benefits, or there are a lot of ways that they can help you get access to aid that isn't necessarily provided by JCCC, but they know what to do and they know how to connect you with those resources if that is something you need. And then I will turn it over to Ashley. Do we want to have a question pause, or do we
Sure.
wanna- Does anyone have questions about the programs we offer or resources? Digitally, on the Zoom, or in person?
So we'll wait a little bit, but I know you all might have some questions about, hey, there are so many degrees that you guys went through. What the heck do you do with those degrees when you graduate college? Our website is amazing. In fact, I know these were specific to Kansas Promise, but if you go out to our Kansas Promise page, jccc.edu/Kansas Promise, you can also use our QR that we have there to scan and get out there. We actually break down all of the different programs, and under each of those categories, you can click on the link for the program, and that takes you to like an overview page for the program, where you're going to see exactly what classes you're going to need to finish that degree or certificate. It's also going to include opportunities for careers that you could go into within each of those categories. Plus, some of them also list salary ranges, where you can see what type of salary you might be looking at expectation-wise when you're done with school. So take advantage of that website. I know we have some Kansas Promise booklets here that also replicate some of that info for a lot of our programs. So make sure you pick one of those up from us. You all online, you are welcome to send us an email to admissions and we can get you items mailed out. So quick to just pop your information into our website and we can get information to you. So now let's talk details about Kansas Promise. I guess, Dylan, did you have any questions on the back end?
Nope, no questions currently. Keep on keeping on.
Thank you, thank you. So Kansas Promise Scholarship is a last dollar scholarship that can pay for tuition and fees, textbooks, and Kansas Promise course-related materials, and we'll go into that a little bit more. It was approved by the Kansas legislature back in 2021. So our state of Kansas approved this as a free college initiative, free community college initiative, to help get students in high demand, high need careers, high wage careers in our state. So we're trying to get good employees, we're trying to retain them and keep them in our state. And as you can tell, a lot of these programs are in high demand right now, so we'll go through that in a little bit more detail. So to be eligible, essentially you just have to be a United States citizen, and you have to have graduated within the past 12 months from a Kansas high school. So any of you all here in the audience, if you're seniors this year or juniors, you know, looking to graduate from a high school, then you'd be eligible for this Kansas Promise Scholarship. Otherwise, we'd be looking at somebody who's been a Kansas resident for the past 3 years. So if you're somebody that wasn't fresh out of high school, just as long as you've lived here in Kansas the past 3 years, it doesn't matter how old you are, we're going to be looking at getting you eligible for the Kansas Promise Scholarship. A couple other things here, even if you are, let's say, a military service member from another state, you've been transferred here or graduated from another high school, we would basically establish a residency in Kansas under Kansas Promise if you had graduated from high school within the past 12 months or had a GED. And then anybody qualified, students who have been in custody of the Secretary of Children and Families when they're enrolled and attending any of grades 9 through 12 and are not receiving that Kansas foster care assistance, they can be eligible for Promise as well. And what does last dollar mean? Well, last dollar basically means that this scholarship would step in and pay the rest of the tuition and fees, books and supplies, materials, looking at what has already been packaged on the student's account. So if the student has any of that free money, like a scholarship or a grant, those would be taken into account first, and then the scholarship steps in and pays for the rest. So a lot of our students, when they apply for the FAFSA, and we'll talk about that tonight a little bit more in detail, they may not be eligible for those federal grant programs or that free money that doesn't have to be repaid. And if that's the case, maybe their only option is to take out a student loan to help pay for their college. Well, with Kansas Promise, it would step in and pay for everything like a scholarship, because that's what it is, but it's last dollar meaning it would pay for everything. And when we talk about course-related materials, for example, our dental hygiene program, I'll tell you that's one that has a really high kit cost. I think last year they paid about $5,000 for the kit that they have to pay for to be ready for their program. It includes all their dental hygiene tools, which are very expensive, all of their scrubs, shoes, everything that's included that they need to have in preparation for their first day of classes. That can all be covered with Kansas Promise. Same with our welding students. They have very expensive leather chaps that they have to wear to protect themselves from the items that they're using in their class. That all can be covered with Promise. So it's an amazing opportunity that can help our students save a lot of money in the long run. So we'll just touch on the criteria one more time. U.S. citizen, the FAFSA or the free application for federal student aid is required to qualify for Promise. And the reason that is there are income limits that they're looking at for students and families to qualify. That income limitation right now for a family of 3, we're looking at 150,000 or less in the AGI or adjusted gross income is what would put people in the running for that family size for the Kansas Promise. If we have a household higher than that, it basically goes up $4,800 per additional family member to add to that 150 base. So a lot of students, again, that wouldn't qualify for grants, maybe only qualify for loans based on that AGI, would qualify for Promise. There is a separate application for Kansas Promise, and that is done through the Kansas Board of Regents website, and we direct students to that website to complete the application. And as we've covered, you have to pursue an eligible program, and we have those all identified through jccc.edu. The program has to be completed within 36 months, so you've got 3 years to finish a program of study. Most of our programs, the max you'd spend would be about 2 years to finish a full associate's degree at JCCC. And then this is a service scholarship. So again, the point of this was bringing employees into our state, getting students their degrees and their credentials. You have to commit to live and work in Kansas for 2 years after you finish your program of study, and we'll go more into that as well. Any questions before we go a little bit further? Okay, keep going. So just a few steps to qualify. The first would be applying for admission. It's free to apply to JCCC. Rhiannon can give you more information about that. You do it on our website, and everybody qualifies for admission at JCCC. Anybody who applies will be accepted. We are open admission. And then the next step would be to file the FAFSA or free application for federal student aid. Third step is to complete our JCCC scholarship application, which is found through the student's online portal when they become admitted to the college. And then do that Kansas Promise application through the Board of Regents website. If students are eligible, we are reaching out to them constantly. We have a coordinator that's designated in our office that works with Promise students. So you would meet one-on-one with that coordinator to talk about your next steps and agreement for the Promise scholarship. Couple of frequently asked questions that we see. A lot of our students want to transfer for a bachelor's degree, and they're concerned about that service requirement when they're done. So is it possible to transfer a bachelor's degree? Yes, it is. So they can transfer in the state of Kansas and delay that service agreement until they're done with their program of study. The maximum lifetime offer for this program is 68 credit hours or $20,000, whichever occurs first. So within that 36-month time period, if a student wanted to finish a certificate and an associate's degree, and they can do that within 36 months, and they're both Promise eligible programs, they can do that and still be within that time frame to complete both of those and have them both paid for, as long as they don't exceed that 68 credit hours. Most of our associate's degrees, Rhiannon, what are we looking at, 63?
About 60 to 65 in that range. It really depends on the program at that point.
So good opportunity to do both if need be. And then do students have to be full-time? I know a lot of our adult students, may be working at the same time while they're trying to come back and finish a program of study. They do not have to be full-time. You can take part-time hours and still qualify for Promise. And then the big question, what if the agreement can't be fulfilled to live and work in Kansas? The student would then be required to repay this like it was a student loan, basically. So if that was taken out as a scholarship, that agreement can't be met, they would look on the back end and see, what interest has accumulated in the collection cost that would be part of that if they had to turn it into a student loan. But I will tell you, we are constantly working with the state representatives from the Kansas border regions on different things and understanding, why the students would drop and not be able to fulfill the agreement. But, I definitely know that certain things they may be able to make accommodations for, like military service and those types of things where they have to transfer out of state. So this would be definitely a question that you'd be working with our coordinator on. So questions about Promise before we go into FAFSA? Yeah.
How long is the program scheduled to last? Like 2 years, 5 years?
So right now, the question was how long is the program scheduled to last for Promise? It's indefinite. We believe it's going to continue to be funded year after year through the state budget. So we don't see an end date right now. At first, I thought we had a small time frame, but now I think it's pretty much indefinite. There is a maximum amount of money that's allocated though. So it is kind of first come, first serve, but we aren't even near reaching that capacity with all the community colleges in the state of Kansas that offer this. Because it's only in the state of Kansas and only through our community colleges, plus I will be Washburn Tech is the other tech school included. Thank you for that question. Any others? Okay. So let's talk federal financial aid of the FAFSA. Who here has filed a FAFSA in the past? Yeah. Okay. So FAFSA, I know it's a big scary word, free application for federal student aid, but actually it is much easier to file and complete than it has been in the past. So that application is going to determine a student's eligibility for the federal student aid programs, including grants. So if you've ever heard of the Pell Grant before, that is a large grant that is offered through the federal government, and that is that free money that doesn't have to be repaid, and it's tied to a student's financial need and their family situation. Work study, that is working on campus where you could get paid an hourly wage, you find a job, and then it's paid through that federal funding. Student loans are offered through the federal government, just like a car loan or a house loan, they have to be repaid with interest when the school is done. And then a lot of people don't realize that when you have a FAFSA, it also establishes that financial need that puts you in the running for need-based scholarships. So it's so important to have a FAFSA, even if you don't think you're going to qualify for federal grants, to get that in so that you expand on your opportunities to get more free money. And how much can you receive? This is actually kind of hot off the press right here, but 23-24. So this would be the year that high school seniors are applying for right now. Our continuing students, that year for us at JCCC will kick off next fall of 23. And so our incoming freshmen would be looking at receiving the Pell Grant. It went up $500 from this current year. We're looking at $7,395 that a fully eligible Pell Grant student could receive. That is divided between the fall and the spring semester. So students can see, somewhere around $3,700 each semester, which if you look at our tuition and fees, that would cover full-time tuition and fees plus books and supplies. So a student eligible for full Pell Grant may or may not need to apply for Promise because everything can already be paid for. So that's something that we counsel families on and students. Then there is a separate grant called the Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, or FSEOG for short. The federal government likes to use really long words and then they put them down into little baby acronyms. It's generally, we offer this as a campus-based program. So every year we apply for these funds essentially, and they're given to us and we distribute them out to the student. It is a grant that ties to financial needs. So we are usually giving that to students that have Pell Grant eligibility. We're looking at normally about $500 per year. That's an extra bump, which is awesome for our students to have. And then work study. Right now we offer $5,000 that a student can receive for the full year, but they do have to work to earn those funds. We pay $15 an hour. That's huge compared to what a lot of our students might find out in the community. So we're very fortunate to be able to pay that. Plus, getting a job on campus is a great way For students who even have a first-time job, maybe they're coming in from high school, never worked before. Got a great program set up. We have a great work study coordinator in our office that gets students connected with multiple different jobs on campus. And then the direct subsidized and unsubsidized student loans. A student would be looking as an incoming freshman from Johnson County as a dependent student, they'd be looking at about $5,500 would be that maximum loan they could receive between the subsidized and the unsubsidized. Now with subsidized, it ties to the financial need from the FAFSA. That means the government will take care of the interest while the student's attending school. With the unsubsidized loan, that interest accrues as soon as that loan has been dispersed out. Direct plus loan. So parents, if you're looking at costs, maybe of the 4-year, when they transfer on, and how would we be able to pay for that with the $5,500, maybe a little bit of Pell Grant scholarships, might need a little bit more, and that's where a plus loan might be something to consider. It is for parents of dependent students. You would actually apply for the plus loan through studentaid.gov after the student has done their FAFSA, and that is a loan that you would take out on the student's behalf to help them pay for college. And that can be offered up to the cost of attendance minus any other aid that the student has already received or been packaged. So the formula for financial need is up there. That COA stands for cost of attendance. Every school sets a cost of attendance on an annual basis in the financial aid office generally, and we're saying this is how much it would cost for this student to attend JCCC. We look at tuition and fees, book, housing. So when you're comparing schools, that's a really important number to look at. It's not necessarily what you're going to have to pay because it's going to depend on the student situation of what they have to put out there for college. But we'll subtract out that EFC or expected family contribution. That number comes directly from the FAFSA. So when you fill out that FAFSA, all those questions that they're asking you are put into a calculation to get at that EFC number. If there's any difference between the two, the student has eligibility for need-based financial aid and scholarships. So what do you need to get started with the FAFSA? A couple things. You'll want to have your social security number and your FSA ID available. If you haven't created an FSA ID, it is basically a username and password that you create on the studentaid.gov website or FAFSA website. If it's the same thing, essentially. Create an account there, and it's going to tie to your social security number. And that is your electronic signature that you will use to sign the FAFSA. And if you take out student loans or, beyond that, you would be able to see everything within your portal there on studentaid.gov with that FSA ID. So a student will need to have an FSA ID to complete their FAFSA, and at least one parent of a dependent student will need to sign that FAFSA electronically with an FSA ID if they choose to do it that way. So the FSA ID will also allow parents to go out to the IRS data retrieval tool and pull in information directly from the IRS onto the FAFSA, which makes it super seamless and super quick to fill out the FAFSA. Federal tax information. So we'll be looking at 2021 taxes from that 23-24 FAFSA. So I know that's a couple years prior. Records of untaxed income information as well as information about current assets will all be asked on the FAFSA. And then our school code. You can find us on the FAFSA, but you can list up to 10 schools. Hopefully you'll just want to add us, but if you're still on the fence about a couple different schools, make sure you list them all on your FAFSA so that they can receive the information when you submit that. So I've said dependent students a couple times. Generally, students under the age of 24 are considered dependent by federal government standards for FAFSA purposes. Even if a student maybe lives on their own, they're still considered a part of the household until they reach about the age of 24. And the FAFSA will tell you automatically if you're considered dependent and have to provide parent information to students when you're going through that process. Now with information being reported from 2021, I know by the time seniors would be in high school, or excuse me, college for the fall of 23, that's about 2 years difference. So with everything going on in the economy, unfortunate job losses, extremely high medical expenses or passing a family member, that can all impact a family's financial situation. If that is the case in your family and your income looks different on 2021 than it does right now, that is something where you would want to connect with the financial aid office. Come see us, we can talk about things like special circumstances to determine if that has truly impacted the situation, where we can make adjustments to that expected family contribution. So to complete the FAFSA, you'll just go to the FAFSA website, so FAFSA.gov, that's what it looks like right now. In the upper right-hand side of the screen is where you see the button to create an account, but if you click on the start here or log in, you'll be able to create an account for that FSA ID right there. Now parents, hey, if you ever completed a FAFSA for another sibling, you probably already have an FSA ID set up. They started that process about 7 or so years ago. If you had your own FAFSA or you went to graduate school, that's where you might have an FSA ID and you would not have to create a new one. If you had a FAFSA PIN, those have all gone away, so you'd want to create an FSA ID. You wouldn't have to go digging through your paperwork to try to find your old PIN number, so those are all gone. And then a few tips. If anything to increase scholarship eligibility, you definitely want to complete the FAFSA because that will do that for you. If you have to take out a student loan to help pay for your college, doing it through the FAFSA is really a smart way to borrow. Students do not go through any credit checks or anything like that when they've applied through the FAFSA, so they'd be eligible for that student loan through completing that. The current interest rate, it is fixed, so that's very important to know. It's not going to change, you know, when they graduate, like some private loans may, when graduation has occurred. That current fixed interest rate is 4.99%, which is still relatively low, not as low as it was a couple of years ago when all interest rates were really low, but it does tie to what's going on with the economy, so it will vary year to year. And then our packaging for financial aid and scholarships will start in mid-April. So our seniors right now are applying for next year, and they'll start seeing that information from us about those financial aid offers in mid-April. If you need more information about the FAFSA process, just go to FAFSA.gov or studentaid.gov, and you'll be able to search a lot of information there. The FAFSA does open October 1st of every year. So that new FAFSA will open October 1. Right now, you'll see 2 FAFSAs out there, so 22, 23. That's the FAFSA that we're looking at for the spring and the summer. So if you're thinking about summer school, you'd want to complete that FAFSA. And then also have the 23, 24 out there, which will go all the way from the fall of 23 through the summer of 24. And seniors, we do like to highlight some of the awesome opportunities that we have for our community. We are your community college, so we love being able to shout out about the wonderful scholarship opportunities that we have. So we offer, it was close to $3 million last year in scholarships just for our JCCC students. We are so fortunate to have an amazing foundation and amazing donors in our community that want to support our students. So students complete one scholarship application and it puts them in the running for hundreds of our scholarships at college. Some will require the FAFSA, like we talked about. I'd say probably about 75% of the scholarships we offer are going to ask for the FAFSA. It doesn't necessarily mean they have to have that financial need, but we do require the FAFSA, especially for a lot of our career programs. And then high school seniors need to submit a 7th semester official transcript. Now that would be the transcript that they have once their December grades post. So that should be available now for them to have their high school send over to our admissions team so that we have a GPA for scholarship purposes. And then if any students are in our college now or kind of our dual partnership programs through high school, you'll want to make sure you submit a change of major to establish a major for the fall semester so that we can get you in the running for scholarship. And then some of the scholarships may require full-time enrollment, so keep that in mind. You may need to be in 12 or more hours to be able to receive that scholarship if you've been awarded. Let me talk about some of the great opportunities. We actually guarantee that students coming in from a Johnson County High School with a 3.25 GPA or higher, they're going to get $1,000 from us their first year. That's awesome. Covers about 40% of tuition and fees, both in the fall and the spring semester. So all we need for that is a 7th semester transcript, application for admission, and our JCCC scholarship application to put them in the running for that. So awesome. Beyond that, For our students that are the top coming in from each Johnson County high school, we have what's called our President's Scholarship. Students with a 3.5 or higher GPA qualify, but we're gonna look at all the applicants from all the schools, and we're gonna pick the top student GPA wise, that's coming into JCCC to give them that full ride President's Scholarship. It covers 12 hours of tuition and fees plus $300 in books, and it's renewable for a second year. So great opportunity for those students. And then, of course, we talked about Kansas Promise, but another great scholarship opportunity that we've recently been approved for 6-year grant through the National Science Foundation is our STEM scholarship. So STEM is a hot topic right now: science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Anybody looking to go into one of those fields could earn up to $10,000 a year for 2 years at JC. When we cost how much, Shannon, a credit hour, Johnson County rate?
The $97 a credit hour.
Yeah, 97 times 12 is what? 1,000 something, right?
1,200 and something.
See, she knows the math, I don't know the math.
I don't know the math, it just, it looks on my PowerPoint that I actually look at.
So you got what, maybe $1,300 for tuition fees? What are you gonna do with $10,000? It's gonna pay all your tuition fees, plus books and supplies, what you need. You might even be able to save some of that money to help you transfer to a 4-year, because the intent of this program is to get students into STEM careers, move over to the 4-year. With our STEM scholars, they're gonna be advised through our faculty advising team in the STEM program. They're gonna go out and actually tour and go to the science labs at some of our bigger partner colleges, Kansas University, UMKC. They've got these all set up, and the excursions that they go on through this program, and they get mentored throughout the duration of their time at JCCC up until the point where they transfer. So amazing opportunity. That application will be open April 1st after our main scholarships. Kind of the priority deadline passes for that, then that application will be open through June 1st. So don't miss out on that opportunity. FAFSA help. FAFSA, I know it can be hard, first time going through that, but we're here to help. Our office, even if you're not planning on going to JCCC, let us be your community resource. We can help you do the FAFSA. This is something that we do. We've got help events set up March 6th through 10th. It's going to be on the second floor of the Student Center, and our team will be there available. This is our financial aid team that can walk you through the FAFSA. They can walk you through the scholarship application if you're admitted to the college. Whatever you need help with, we'll be there. So you're welcome to RSVP on our website, and we've got multiple time frames set up. You pick morning, afternoon, evening. We're open till 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday, so we'd be available even after normal traditional working hours during the day. Questions?
If a student fills out the FAFSA and is interested in interested in anything, is there an office at the college that would work, a person would work one-on-one and tell that person, okay, you can do this, apply for this. Just a one-on-one, so something won't be missed.
Yes. So the question was, yes. Yes. Is there an office on our campus that can help students one-on-one with this process, going through FAFSA, understanding what opportunities are out there so they don't miss anything? Is that what I heard? Okay. Yes, that would be our office. So our financial aid team, we've got a great team on the second floor of the Student Center. You can connect with us either in person during our office hours. You can come online, you can send us an email. We even have Zoom room hours. So Zoom has kind of been an amazing thing that came out of the pandemic, right? Like, did we ever not use Zoom? It's crazy, but 10 to 3, Monday through Friday, our Zoom room is open. So if you're working on something, you're like, oh my gosh, hop into our Zoom room. One of our financial aid coordinators can answer the question for you. We set up individual appointments. So if you do want to have an individual appointment, we can walk through the FAFSA, complete that. After you've done the FAFSA, we can help students kind of see what might be out there. But the biggest thing is getting those applications in, because we're going to try to give the money out to the students that are eligible based on their applications.
You also mentioned who would students meet with if they were undecided on what they wanted to study, correct? You also wanted to hear about where students would go if they didn't know what to do, what to study? There are a couple different departments that can help with that, so in our counseling department, they will meet one-on-one with students to do all sorts of things, which include picking classes, discussing what would be the best route to get where they wanna go. That's going to be a lot of the one-on-one help. Also, our career development center will do different workshops, so like, what are your skills? What jobs use those skills? Where can you take these? How do you develop yourself further? So they will have group workshops on that kind of thing too. Just depends on who you want to meet with, what fits with your schedule. I think both is usually really helpful because I would do a lot of different workshops, but then also meet with my counselor every semester when I was a student. So after financial aid has helped you with the finances, there are a lot of people on campus who can help you continue the process.
And we're all on the second floor of the student center,
Mhm.
so that's the home base for getting started with JCCC for sure.
Student center, you were right there.
Yes, we were there
You
yesterday
guys walked over there too after? Yeah.
on the tour.
And come, take a tour. We've got a lot of opportunities. You can go online, book a tour anytime.
We
and we'll get you set
offer
up.
campus visits, which will include a 30-minute information session and a 1-hour tour Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. and then Friday at 10 a.m. We've now started doing a tour only option on Fridays at 1 p.m. before everything shuts down for the weekend. And then we also have a lot of different events every semester. We'll usually do a junior senior visit day in the fall and then a senior visit day in the spring. So that's what was yesterday where I saw you. We'll also have different events, like my homeschool day will be coming up March 7th. We'll also have a Spanish speaking event that I cannot pronounce correctly as hard as I tried. But in March, we will also have a special evening event that is fully offered in Spanish for anyone here or in the Zoom that might be helpful. Any other questions?
When is the Zoom over? Cause I'd like to ask a
Oh.
question without Zoom.
Sure.
We can ask personal questions like after we shut everything down before we head out.
Okay, thank you.
Hey,
Any Zoom questions?
Unfortunately, all clear of Zoom questions.
okay, thank you. Loud voice in the sky, no.
You're welcome.
Well, we appreciate, everything. Thank you all for being here, for listening to us and going through this, and hopefully you can find your great career with JCCC. Okay. Thank you.
And I just wanted to say a few closing words.
Marty is coming for closing words soon.
First off, I want to thank Rhiannon and Ashley for coming tonight and providing all this incredible information. I've always had a special place in my heart for community colleges, and Johnson County Community College is just like a step above. I'm just awestruck by all that you have to offer, not only in terms of programs and financial aid, but all that one-on-one assistance. We are so lucky in this community to have such a great community college. And I want to thank you all for attending tonight, in person or online. The recording of this program will be posted on our career development research page. So you'll find that on our website. You just go to jocolibrary.org and then look under research and you'll find the career development page. And on there, we have an archive for all of our online programs. So this program will be included in the Careers Begin Here series section. You'll also find other programs that we've offered over the last couple of years. The next program in the Careers Begin Here series is next Tuesday evening. And it's an online program presented by me. I'll be providing an overview of some of the resources and tools that are available on our career development webpage. Some of those tools, in order to access them, you'll need to have a Johnson County Library card, and you'll need to know your PIN. So if you don't yet have that card, it's completely free. You don't have to be a Johnson County resident to get a card. There are application forms in the back. I would encourage you to fill that out and take it to the desk on your way out with a piece of ID with your current name and address, so that you can get your own Johnson County Library card that will give you access to a wealth of resources online beyond the career and finance resources that I work with. So thanks again for coming tonight, and enjoy the rest of your evening.